Tesla's up a crazy 80% since April as it is rocketing into its summer rally. Who could have known? Wait, what's that? I tweeted about that in June? I made a video about it in April? 2 videos about it in April? All right, scratch that. So everybody and their mom is asking me what is my updated price target for Tesla. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you my best answer based on the analysis that I see from a fundamental standpoint and the analysis that I see from a technical standpoint. If you're familiar with this channel, you'll know that Tesla is one of the only stocks that I bought recently, and I continue to be bullish on it, and I'll present to you some additional evidence as to why that is. If you want all of my updated trades, including the July 19th 200 calls that we bought in June, including all of my alerts of when I was dollar cost averaging into Tesla, make sure that you sign up using the link below. Come and join the trading floor. We day trade at market open every single day. Let's get right into it. So looking at the chart here, there's one thing that I want to point out to you. This level right here, $318, which also happens to be one area of resistance that we see here. As you could tell that it hit this level multiple times in 2022. Now, this is the level that with the current number of shares, Tesla will hit $1 trillion market cap at $318. And I believe that Tesla will get to this $1 trillion market cap in the midterm. At $251, which is what Tesla's trading at currently, it has a market cap of $802 billion and a PE ratio of 64, which we will get into later. Now, even if we leave fundamentals aside, and fundamentals is kind of a funny thing, and I'll describe why that is here. I don't think fundamentals are as black and white as some investors like to portray, okay? Fundamentals are definitely a moving target, and I have proof of that. But the $1 trillion market cap is something that all of the stocks in the Mag 7, except for Tesla, have. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Meta. All of those companies are worth at least $1 trillion. Now, what do they all have in common? And what was one of the main reasons that I thought Tesla would actually see a summer rally? Well, they are all driven by a future AI narrative. See, momentum is a huge component of short to midterm price action. And in this case, the AI narrative is the dominant story. And for me, it was clear to see when Tesla was consolidating back in June. And the reason that all of these companies have what seems to be insane valuations, and they are kind of insane valuations, is because AI is such a nascent market. Nascent markets or premature markets are impossible to price. Just look at NVIDIA. We don't even know how fast quantum computing will scale. We don't even know when we will reach AGI, artificial general intelligence, which we don't have currently. We don't know when we're going to hit level 5 autonomy with most vehicles. We don't know what the demand will look like, what the cost will look like, what the net income will look like. This is all just pie in the sky at this moment, right? So we're reliving the Jetsons all over again. We just don't know how to imagine this future. What we do know is that it is the future though. And here's a real life example of why fundamentals, in this case, in nascent markets are so hard to price. If you look at this, Gary Black out here tweeted that anyone short Tesla needs to have their head examined. Funny enough, they cut almost their entire position in September of 2022. But more importantly, he says down here that autonomous vehicles, he equates that to a $5 trillion value, right? And he tweeted this in July. Now, if I told you to guess this guy's position 3 months ago, what do you think it would be, right? Should there be a huge change? If he's pricing Robotaxi at $5 trillion, what could he have possibly priced it 3 months ago when there hasn't really been any change in the fundamentals of Robotaxi? We don't know anything about it yet. The Robotaxi event is not even until August 8th. Well, just 3 months ago, this same guy, Gary Black, says, we assume 0 incremental Robotaxi valuation. So this clown priced Robotaxi at $0, which is fine if that's his opinion. 3 months later, Robotaxi is magically worth a potential $5 trillion, larger than any company we currently have on planet Earth. So although I think that guy's the clown, that is a real life example of how hard it is to price these fundamentals that don't really exist yet. So with something like this comes a lot of FOMO, a lot of MOMO, which is momentum, a lot of hype. We don't know how to price this stuff, so we just continue to buy the stock. And the more that people buy the stock, the more that other people buy the stock, the more that they buy into the hype. So let's see, what does Tesla have on the horizon? Because this definitely is not because of just EVs or just because they beat Q2 deliveries. That might have been the catalyst along with the technicals that I showed you, but definitely the story is much more than that. So let's get into it. So one thing we didn't talk about in the previous videos so much is Optimus, right? If you look at this is Amazon's robots here working in the warehouse. Now, Amazon has 750,000 robots currently working in their warehouses. What's crazy about this is it says one robot at a warehouse means 24 human roles are no longer required. The solution also saves trucking costs as well as packaging material. Each robot packer costs $1 million plus running expenses. Now, this robot that they're talking about that costs $1 million is different than the humanoid looking robot, but you get the picture of what it could cost here. So when we take a look at Tesla's Optimus humanoid robot here doing simple functions, you could see where the trend is going, right? If Amazon already has 750,000 robots, that's just one company, right? It's clearly the world is moving in that direction, where we are not going to require humans to do this stuff. Now, that's another conversation of what do humans do at that point. But you could see where where the world is trending, at least with regards to this topic here. Now, Elon himself said Optimus stuff is extremely underrated. The demand could be as high as 10 to 20 billion units. Now, obviously, he's talking about when this stuff is fully optimized and can actually do functions 24 hours a day without fail. But true, if at the early stages, Amazon has 750,000, almost 1 million robots, and that's at the early stages, right? You would just assume that this stuff is going to grow more. You could see a world where there are billions of robots serving many different industries all around the world. Think of oil mining or precious metals mining, any sort of factory or manufacturing job. I mean, you can let your imagination run wild. And because Tesla's so good at optimizing production, his prediction is that an Optimus robot should cost less than half of a car. Now, one of the biggest banks, Morgan Stanley, agrees. Morgan Stanley says that Tesla's humanoid opportunity is bigger than autonomous cars, and that very well could be the case. We don't know. All right, and then with regards to FSD, I don't want to dive too much into that, but obviously every Tesla car sold is a little revenue generating machine, right? Once FSD gets so good that it could take you from point A to point B autonomously, then everyone that owns a Tesla is going to want to subscribe to FSD. And that's let alone the FSD licensing for other automakers, because Tesla has spent more time than anybody else perfecting full self-driving. Obviously, robotaxi, that's the other business vertical that's so hard to price in, right? If you look at the market cap of Uber, it's just a little under $200 billion. Some banks are pricing this at $500 billion. Some are pricing it at trillions. I really don't know, right? I have no way of telling how valuable robotaxi is going to be. Plus, I don't have the details of it, but you know that it's going to be worth at least the size of one tech company, right? And like everybody else, I'm very curious to see what ends up getting talked about or rolled out on August 8th. Now, one area that might bring in a ton of revenue that's not really related to AI is battery storage. And if you look, I've told you guys to follow this person on Twitter before, AJ, ALOJOH on X. If you look at this person's estimates for battery storage based on all of the information that we know now, and remember that Tesla's reporting earnings on July 23rd, so we will have confirmation of this stuff, but that their battery storage revenues can actually hit a new all-time high of $3.3 billion, which is an increase of 104% quarter over quarter. Last quarter, we saw energy generation revenue of $1.6 billion. Now, for those of you that don't know what this is, it's basically if you have solar panels, there's no way of storing that energy. It's basically whatever's consumed by the sun, you either use it or it just gets sent back to the grid. You cannot store it and save it for later. Whereas with this battery storage or energy storage facility, if you have this installed at your home, you can actually take in the energy from the sun, from the solar panels, and store it so that you can use it later. And then obviously we have deliveries. I want to make one point about deliveries. Yes, Q1 of 2024 did disappoint. Q1 always disappoints. And it is usually the lowest of Tesla's year. But Q1 2024 definitely disappointed. Q2 2024 came in higher than expected. But if you look at this 444,000 number, it actually was only beat out by two other quarters, June of 2023 and December of 2023. Other than that, this is the third best quarter Tesla has ever had in terms of deliveries. Now, at some point, we will get word on the Model 2, which is supposed to be priced in the $25,000 range. So we'll see if that actually has an impact on deliveries as well. But if each one of these business verticals is priced into the hundreds of billions, for instance, right? Let's just say on the conservative side, then of course I see the market cap of Tesla well over $1 trillion. And at that point, you cannot compare Tesla to a Toyota or to whatever car manufacturer, right? Like all of these things that we just talked about. Who else is doing this? Who else has the ability to scale? Who else has the know-how? So in my view, I think in the midterm, Tesla does hit that $1 trillion market cap. And at that point, it'll just be a wait and see when it comes down to earnings, when it comes down to the Robotaxi event. Those might be sell-off events. Who knows? It really depends on what they report. I'm not Nostradamus. But in the long term, I'm very comfortable with Tesla being an over $1 trillion company. Of course, how could it not? Unless every single one of these things that I talked about ends up, faltering. And if we take a look at Tesla's PE ratio right now, sitting at 64. Now, as a car company, obviously that's expensive, but Tesla is not just a car company, right? And I know that you might have been tired of people saying that, but I think I proved it here. And I'm not just talking about FSD, right? I'm talking about things that have nothing to do with cars, energy storage, Optimus, etc. And if you look historically, this is actually pretty cheap for Tesla. Ever since Tesla started making money in 2020, this is actually pretty cheap for Tesla. And historically, Tesla has actually been priced less than this at a much higher PE. So for instance, December 31st, 2020, Tesla was priced at $235 in today's terms, and its PE ratio was 1100. Right now, it's priced at $251 and its PE ratio is 64. Now, from a technical perspective, obviously I want to see Tesla pop above this 2-year trend line here, right? That's obvious. I want to see a healthy close above that. And then we could start talking about the 318 level in the short term. However, if it doesn't hit that 318 level before earnings, which again, earnings are on July 23rd, then yes, of course, earnings could derail that. We could see a hell of a pullback there, right? I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know what's going to happen on earnings. Now, if we continue to go up after earnings, then I will definitely be looking to sell around the Robotaxi event, as I think it could be a sell the news sort of event. Like he would have to announce something huge, like that he's hiring Travis Kalanick or whatever that guy's name is, who used to be the CEO of Uber. I know today he came out and said that that wasn't going to happen, but who knows? Who knows what happens on that announcement? I definitely think it's crazy for you guys to be shorting this. After my last Tesla video, I got so many haters in the comments saying that they were going to take the opposite position. I'm sure all of them are burned right now, taking job applications at McDonald's. That it would be crazy to short this. But I'll just tell it to you like this. If you like what you hear on earnings, if you like what you hear on Robotaxi, then you definitely should be buying the pullbacks, in my opinion. If you don't like what you hear, if you don't believe in Optimus, you don't believe in FSD, you don't believe in Robotaxi, you don't believe in energy storage, you don't believe in the Model 2, you don't believe in increasing margins once the economy gets better, you don't believe in all of these things, then yeah, of course the company is not for you. Like, that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you buy when we were talking about it? Did you recently buy? Did you buy a long time ago? Are you looking to sell right now? Are you shorting it? I know a lot of you did short it and are deleting your comments now, but that's neither here nor there. Leave it in the comment section below. If you want access to all of our trades, you want to trade with me every single day live at market open, make sure you join using the link in the description below. Join our trading floor. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.